the next type of soil, which is actually called black soil, right? Now this is again, the type of soil has changed. Change means what? The first type of soil was transported. Now on, the three type of soils what we are going to discuss are belonging to the next category, that is residual soil. Okay, now this is one of them. Black soil is the first type of residual soil which you find in India. Okay, now how these soils are formed? Because black soil, just now I've said, it is an example of residual soil. That means it is found at the same place where it has got originated. Now, basically, you should keep this in mind, children, that the gray color or the dark gray, or you can say the blackish color of this soil is the main thing by which you can relate its origin. It is formed by the disintegration, or you can say the breaking down or the weathering of a type of rock which is called igneous rock. If you remember how the igneous rocks are formed, these are formed by the solidification of molten magma or lava, right? So molten magma or lava, when it gets solidified, what color it can have? Dark color, right? So if the rock itself is of dark color, naturally the soil which is formed by that will be also dark colored soil. Okay, this is the thing which you can easily relate with its origin. Now basically it is believed that these are formed by the basalt rock, and these soils have got high content of clay. So what is the nature of clay? Clay has got very fine particles, right? Same with the black soil. These are having very fine particles, and more or less they behave like clay soil only. Okay, because of very fine particles, they when they get wet, you'll find it there is a stickiness in this, right? And on the other side, when it gets dry, there develop several cracks within it. Okay, so these are a few things you should understand as important features of the black soil. Okay, so because of the high content of clay, when it gets wet, there is a stickiness in this, right? Moreover, when it gets dry, the cracks develop over this. Okay, this is one of the important feature. It is highly moisture retentive, right? Again, one important feature of it is highly moisture retentive soil. Clear now? And children, it covers a large part of India, especially in the peninsular region, where the igneous rocks have been found. Especially which part of the peninsular region? The Deccan Trap region. So because of that only you can say which areas we can find black soil more, especially in the Gujarat region, right? A major part of Gujarat and maximum part of Maharashtra. These are the states where you'll find this soil is found, this soil can be seen. Or you can say the Deccan Plateau, a major part of Deccan Plateau is having this type of soil. Clear? Now this soil has got a self-ploughing capacity. Clear? And one more thing is there, children, very, very important. In this type of soil, there is one particular crop is grown a lot. Or you can say the other way, this is one of the best soil for the cotton cultivation, right? Because of its nature, it is considered as one of the best type of soil we can have for the cotton cultivation. Now, because of this quality, it is well known by the name black cotton soil, because cotton is a crop which grows in the black soil best. Understood now? This is one part. Another important thing is that, children, what are the elements which are actually found in large quantity in the black soil? For that you should learn LIMCAP. Okay, LIMCAP. LIMCAP. Now, what are all these? Number one, L is, you can see here, number one, L is belonging to lime, right? It is heavily, you can say, high content of lime, iron, magnesium, calcium, alumina, potash. These are the elements which are found in large quantity in the black soil. It is very rich in it. Again, I am telling you, for the basic elements with which it is, you can say, which are found rich in the black soil, you should keep in mind LIMCAP, LIMCAP. L means lime, I means iron, M means magnesium, right? C means calcium, A means alumina, and P means potash. So these are the basic elements which are found in large quantity in the black soil, right? Now let's move to the next quality of it, right? Just now in the earlier part I have said that black soil, because it has got high content of clay, right? It is more clay in nature, so you will find it becomes sticky when it gets wet, right? The same quality has been mentioned here, and when it gets dry, you'll find this type of cracks develop over the soil. Now, actually, cracks which develop over the soil, that helps in the air circulation to the deeper parts of the soil. So this is actually one of the features which it has got developed, and that's why it is called as self-ploughing soil. Next is red soil. The second type of soil which is found is called red soil, and it is again one of the residual soils found in India. Right now, in which areas we can find the red soil? For that, you should understand which areas do we find the crystalline and metamorphic rocks in large quantity, especially the interior parts of you can say the peninsular plateau, right, or the Deccan plateau, that is made up of basically the crystalline metamorphic rocks. And all those parts wherever this type of rocks are found, in all those parts you will find the red soil is there. Okay, so that means what is the bedrock or the parent rock for the red soil? Old crystalline metamorphic rock. And by the disintegration, or you can say the weathering of this rock, the red soil is formed. Understood now? What are the features of it? For the features, you should understand that when it is said red soil, red means it has got the reddish color. Understood? And what it is, how it has got the reddish color, because of, it is having high content of iron oxide within it. Iron oxide. Okay. And because of the presence of iron, it has got reddish color. Understood? And this soil is porous, it is friable, it is coarser in texture, right? These are the important features, physical features of it. Clear? When we talk about the chemical features, or you can say the the main elements which are found in it in large content, or which are deficient in it, especially you should know that the iron oxide is highly found in the red soil. But on the other side, nitrogen, humus, phosphorus, these are a few elements which are lacking in this type of soil. Okay, so this soil is not so fertile. Clear? This soil is not considered as so fertile as compared to the alluvial soil. Understood, children? But the very important point you should understand here, it is not so fertile, but it responds to the fertilizers, right? Irrigation. Suppose we provide irrigation facility in any area which is having red soil, right? And we have used some fertilizers over there. So that soil is going to give us a good production of the various crops. So it responds well to the fertilizers as well as for irrigation also. Now one more point is that because of its nature, it is basically, you can say, most suited for the dry farming. This type of soil is basically suited for the dry farming. There is a technique where we use less water, right? By using less water, we grow different type of crops, and in that type of farming, the red soil is best suited for it. Now come to the third type of soil, which is called laterite. Okay, laterite soil. Now laterite, basically, if you see the literal meaning of it, you'll find the word means, it is actually, basically it is a Latin word which means brick. Okay, you can easily relate this with the use of laterite soil. Okay, this is a type of soil which is used for brick making also, right? So you can relate that. But one thing is there, children, which you have to understand. It is the result of laterization. Okay, laterization is a process somewhat like leaching, and by that it has got its name, laterite soil. The soil which is the result of laterization, that is called laterite soil, right? Again, it is another type of, yes, residual soil, right? This is another residual soil. Now, where we can find the laterite soils? Especially, children, this is not found in large area. It is found in India, at least in small pockets, right? I am coming to that, where this type of soil is found. First, let us discuss how it is formed and by which rock, right, it can be formed. Now, one thing is again important here. Behind its formation, right, it can be formed by the underlying bedrock, can be the igneous rock, it can be the old crystalline metamorphic rock also, right? But the another important thing is that anyhow, if the soil has been formed, it has gone through the process of leaching, right? So it is found especially in those areas where you can say temperature and rainfalls, right? High temperature areas. Moreover, the rainfall is, you can say, for some time the rainfall occurs, right? Sometimes it is a dry spell. So that is the climatic condition which is required for the formation of this soil, right? Whenever there is heavy rainfall, it makes the soil, actually, the various nutrients which are present in the soil, in the topsoil, all those nutrients mix with water, and water, as it seeps down inside, all the nutrients go down, right? Okay, so the nutrients are less seen in the topsoil where the nutrients have gone now. These nutrients are basically they have gone to the subsoil. So this is another important thing you should remember related to the laterite soil. And in the various nutrients, basically the silica content of the soil is lost when it goes through the process of leaching. Achha. The next thing is, it has got, again, iron oxide is rich, right? It is this soil is having high content of iron oxide. Clear? It is reddish color, again porous and friable, just like the red soil. Okay, and it is deficient in nitrogen and humus content. Laterite soil is deficient in the nitrogen and humus content. Now, it is actually, when it is exposed in the atmosphere, right, it gets very hard. This is a nature which makes it useful, especially in the construction purpose, right? Or you can say for the brick making, laterite soil is used. right? Because when it is exposed in the atmosphere, in an open area, it gets very tough, very hard. Okay, so it can be used for the construction purpose. Clear now? This is the feature of it. Now, in which areas these are found? This type of soil, basically, children, you just remember a few things over all the mountainous areas, right? Especially in the southern parts of it and the northeastern region. The mountains which are there, the northeastern hills and the western and the eastern ghats, you will find at the summits. Summits means the top of the hills you will find, or the mountains. This type of soil is found. Again, I am repeating, laterite soil is found in small pockets. It's not a vast area having this laterite soil. Only in limited areas it can be found. And which are those areas? Especially the top of, or you can say the summits, right, of the different mountains or the hills we have, especially in the northeastern region and in the southern parts also, in the peninsular region also, the eastern and western ghats. Summits of it, okay, the top of these mountains are basically having this type of soil. Okay, laterite soil. Clear now? Now, overall, if you can see here, the blue colored region, right? Blue colored region is having the alluvial soil, if you can see. The pink colored area is totally having the red soil. Okay, purple colored region, this is the entire purple colored area. It is having the black soil. Laterite soil, you can see here pink color, right? This along the coastal areas, right, over the western ghats, a few parts over the eastern ghats also, small pockets you can see here, even over the Aravalis, right, and the northeastern hills also, especially Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. So these are the small pockets where you can find the laterite soil. Understood, children? So this is actually the classification according to the region where these can be found. Now, a very important part of the study of soil, right, is actually soil erosion. Now, first of all, you should understand, children, what is the meaning of soil erosion. You must have heard at several places now, soil erosion is going on, or soil erosion is an important thing which you should know about it. What is actually soil erosion? The loss of the topsoil, right? In simple way you can say, anyhow, right? Anyhow, when the topsoil, or you can say the fertility of the soil is lost, okay, by any means, if the fertility of the soil is lost, that is taken as soil erosion. The other way we can define it in this way, it is a gradual process that occurs when the impact of water, wind or any other agent of gradation, right, detaches and removes the soil particles and causing ultimately what? The soil to deteriorate, its fertility to go down. That is called as the soil erosion. Okay. Now, what are the various factors on which the soil erosion, we can say that soil erosion can be more faster, right? Or it is more or less, that is determined by a few factors. Which are those factors now? Number one is the slope of land. If the slope of land is there, suppose if it is a plain surface area, soil erosion will be less. Okay, chances of soil erosion will be less. But if it is a slope, there a little rainfall will easily cause the soil to flow away along with water. So always the slopes are more prone to soil erosion. Okay, number one. Number two is presence of vegetation. Now, how it can affect the soil erosion? If the soil, children, in any part of the land area, if the soil is covered by vegetation, vegetation cover is there, and suppose trees are there or even the grasses, if they cover the soil, what is the effect of it? They hold the soil together, by their roots. The soils are hold, actually these the vegetations, they hold the soil together, right? And when the rainfall occurs or the wind blows with a high speed, they are not able to carry the soil along with them. So in this way, soil erosion gets less. But if the vegetation cover is not there on the soil, it is naked, what will happen then? Even a little bit of rainfall occurs, or if the wind blows with a high speed, all that will carry away the soil. Uppermost layer of the soil, or the top soil, will be carried away by these agents of gradation. So this is again very important thing which actually determines the soil erosion is going on or it is going to happen or not, right? Number 3 is the soil type. Yes, soil type also becomes very important. Why? Because you should understand, children, when the soil is, suppose the particles are loose, right? The particles are very loose. They can easily be carried by flow of water. They can easily be carried by the winds. When they blow, they will carry the soil particles with them. What happens in the desert areas, right? Sand is there and sand is very loose. Okay. Now, when the wind blows, it takes away all the sand particles which are present in that area. But if you see the clay soil on the other side, clear? Clay soil is very fine particled soil. And in that, if you see, because these are very fine particles and they are mostly moisture, you can say moisture is there in the soil. As compared to sandy soil, the moisture is present in the soil here. In the clay soil, you can say the example of the alluvial soil, black soil, or any other type, right? So what happens in this case? When the wind blows, it is not able to take away the soil particles with it because they are held together. So again, the soil type is another important thing which is the determining factor whether the soil erosion is possible or not. Next is rainfall. Rainfall, wind, these are certain things which are the agents, right? In any area when the rainfall is too heavy, that area little bit, if the slope is there and the vegetation is not there over the surface, that area will be experiencing a lot of soil erosion, right? Same way the work of wind is there. Any area which is open, right, the soil is open and the wind blows and the soil, suppose soil is not having any moisture with it, so it will be easily carried away by the wind. So these are again some important things. But if you see certain other parts where the rainfall amount is less, so there even if the soil is open, right, on the surface, the soil will not be easily taken away by the rainwater or by the wind because it is having certain vegetation cover over it, right? Or you can say the rainfall is less, so it is not going to cause any soil erosion. Okay, same way if the wind blows with a gentle speed, right? So that wind will not cause any soil erosion. If the wind blows with a high speed, that is more responsible for the erosion of soil. Another important factor is the human activities. Now, how the human activities can cause soil erosion? Basically, children, just think of it. A few activities of human beings are causing soil erosion. The first example of it is the construction sites, right? Just imagine of that. Construction sites. What we are doing? We are breaking the big mountains and all, right? For the construction of roads, for construction of tunnels. We are breaking down that. Number one. Number two is that suppose over the in any open area, we have to construct any building. For that purpose, we are digging out the soil and all. So that is again going to cause the soil erosion. Moreover, deforestation is being done on large scale. Over the hilly and mountainous areas, the slopes are now not covered with any vegetation at all. It is just because of us, because we are causing we are causing actually deforestation. Because of any reason it may be, but deforestation is going on. So now the slopes are not having any vegetation cover over that, right? Now these slopes are more prone to soil erosion. Understood? Another example you can take here. Suppose the simple for agriculture purpose. What we do is we first till the soil. Now, yes, tilling is done, and after that the agriculture is practiced over there. So for tilling, again, that is actually a step which leads to the leaching in certain parts, right? So these are a few things, children, which we can easily relate, different activities of human beings. You can say the mining and all. So different things are there which lead to the soil erosion. Now, the next part of it is what are the different types of soil erosion, right? Now the soil erosion can be caused by the flow of water, it can be caused by the wind, right? These are the main agents of gradation, clear, which cause the soil erosion. Whenever it is caused by the flow of water, that can be called as by surface runoff. Okay, by the flow of water, when it is caused, it can be three types. Number one is called sheet erosion, number two is rill erosion, and number three is gully erosion, right? What is sheet erosion now? Sheet erosion, just like a thin sheet of paper, right? Just like that. If you see, when the water flows over an area which is not having any vegetation cover at all, right? So that water takes away, along with it, a thin sheet of soil, a thin layer of soil is removed along with the flow of water, right? So that is actually called as sheet erosion. Understood? This is the first type. Second is rill erosion. Rill erosion is somewhat like suppose anywhere the water flows right after the rainfall. Now what happens there? At several places you must have seen also, like finger-like projections are formed over the surface, right? Finger-like formation. And at several places, wherever the little slope is there, water accumulates at one place, then again some other part, so water takes its way, okay, thus developing into finger like projections to develop, and this is again caused by the surface runoff. When the water flows all together, that leads to this rill erosion, okay. And when these rill erosion, these rills, you can say, these rills get deeper and deeper, these take a shape of big ravines, okay. The same rill erosion, when it goes on for long time, it leads to the formation of several ravines to develop, okay. Ravines, or you can say the deep channels are formed, and this is called as gully erosion. So sheet erosion is what? The uppermost layer of soil, thin sheet of soil is taken away by the flow of water. Number one, that is sheet erosion. Number two is rill erosion. Rill erosion is that in which you will find the finger-like projections are formed over the earth's surface. Okay, this is called rill erosion. Again, the next one is gully erosion. When rill erosion goes on for long time, that leads to the formation of several deep ravines to develop, okay, and this is then called as gully erosion. So these are the different types of soil erosion. You can see here the sheet erosion. Number one, you can see a thin layer of soil is altogether taken away by the flow of water, right? This is the second picture is of the rills, right? You can easily understand by this. The flow of water, actually the water takes certain different paths, right? And wherever it flows, it takes away some amount of soil. So this thing which develops, that is called rill erosion, right? Several rills develop. And when it gets deeper and deeper, the rill gets deeper, it leads to the formation of gully. Okay, deep ravines are formed and then it is called as gully erosion. So this much is clear? Yes. Now the main areas which are affected by the soil erosion are, number one is the Chambal Valley in Madhya Pradesh, right? It is badly affected by the gully erosion. Okay, several deep ravines are there and which has left the entire area totally, you can say, it's of no use at all, right? Several ups and downs, undulated landform is there. Okay, then northeastern hills, okay, northeastern parts of India, then Himalayan region, the slopes of Himalayas, then the plains of Uttar Pradesh, and especially the Thar desert. Okay, these are the areas where you will find the erosion is seen in on large scale. Now, what can be the causes behind all these, the erosion which are actually seen in all these areas? Number one, the most important factor is the surface runoff, right? Suppose you can take the example of plains of Uttar Pradesh. Whenever there is, suppose any flood, right, or the water rainfall is too heavy over the slopes of Himalayas, you can take the example. What happens there then? If the vegetation cover is not there, that is again one very important thing which can reduce the erosion. But if the vegetation cover is not there, what will happen? Soil is now open, right? And whenever rainfall occurs heavily in those areas, it will cause the surface runoff. Runoff means it will cause the taking away of the entire thin layer of soil along with water, right? Second is the steep heavy rainfall, then shifting cultivation, steep slope over the northeastern hills, or the steep slope over the Himalayan region. That is one thing, right? Slope is a big factor. Heavy rainfall especially is caused in the suppose northeastern hills, over the western ghats, right, over the slopes of the Himalayas. So these are again prone to soil erosion. Shifting cultivation is a big factor, especially in the northeastern hills, because shifting cultivation is a practice which is done by a group of people, and these actually, especially the tribal people, and what they do is they do the cultivation at one place, right? For that purpose they just clear off all the forested area, right? They have done the cultivation in that part, right? For 2, 3, 4 years they go on doing the cultivation without using any fertilizers, right? So ultimately after 3 to 4 years, when that soil becomes less fertile now, because the production, how do they know? The production of you can say the crop which is actually being grown there, right? The production gets reduced, and so they know that now this soil is not proper, so they start shifting from that place to some other part of the forested area, right? Now what is the condition? The area which was cleared first by these people for the cultivation, now that area is left open without any vegetation cover over that, and they shift to some other part of the forested area again they do the same practice. They clear all the forest from there, all the trees are cut, right? All the bushes and all these are burnt. Understood? Again they do the same practice for 2, 3, 4 years. They again, when they find that the production is less, they start shifting to the other part. Now children, one thing you should understand here, this is basically practiced in the interior parts of the forests, interior parts of the you can say the peninsular region, and basically it is one of the main problems we are facing in the northeastern hilly regions, which actually makes a large part to get prone to soil erosion. Okay, because that is again an area where heavy rainfall occurs and the slope is already there, so that makes the soil erosion very fast, right? Then deforestation. Especially deforestation, it will apply over the northeastern hills also, over the Himalayan regions also, right? Especially the hilly or mountainous areas are densely forested area. Okay, when the slopes of Himalayas, when the slopes of the northeastern hills are cleared off by the forest, right? Because of any reason, the deforestation is done, right? So now what is left behind? Now the soil is open for any type of erosion. So this is again a big cause for the erosion. Then floods especially, children, in the plain areas, plains of Uttar Pradesh, where you will find when there is heavy rainfall, right, during the rainy season, because several rivers are flowing through the plains, right, and these rivers carry a lot of water with them, and that leads to floods in the plains. So that may cause the washing away of the upper layer of soil along with water. So this is again another factor. Now the next is wind. Wind especially works most actively in the desert areas, right, where the where the, you can say, the soil which is present, that is actually sandy soil, and that soil is loose, right, loose particles are there. Okay, they can easily be carried away by a strong wind, right? So the Thar desert faces especially the erosion done by the wind. These are the different causes behind all these areas where the soil erosion is seen maximum, reddish color in India.